Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be shedding light on the ample problems appertaining to having an inefficient supply chain. So, what are some of the ample problems appertaining to having an inefficient supply chain? Without further ado, without further delay, allow me to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. Lamentably, much of my dismay, much of my consternation, much of my chagrin, much of my agony, much of my grief, and much of my distress, an inefficient supply chain is all the less resilient to market downturns. They are all the less resilient to unexpected, unpredictable decreases in customer demand for products. They're also all the more prone to become unprofitable and even defunct relative to an efficient supply chain. An inefficient supply chain is all the more susceptible to succumb to supply chain disruptions, supply chain bottlenecks, and supply chain impediments. An inefficient supply chain is all the less poised, all the less primed, all the less apt to be able to satisfy customer demand for products in an expeditious manner. An inefficient supply chain neglects to incorporate autonomous robots and artificial intelligence enhanced tools into the supply chain to streamline such supply chain processes. And as a result, is all the more apt to incur higher supply chain costs than they otherwise would if they ushered in autonomous robots in tandem with artificial intelligence enhanced tools into the supply chain to streamline supply chain processes. An inefficient supply chain has exorbitant overhead costs, exorbitant storage costs, exorbitant production costs, exorbitant transportation costs. An inefficient supply chain has operational inefficiencies. An inefficient supply chain has infrequent communication among supply chain members. An inefficient supply chain is not able to remedy supply chain bottlenecks in an expeditious manner. They can be severely stymied. They can be severely impeded. They can be severely encumbered. They can be severely stifled by prolonged supply chain disruptions that are not rectified. If something remains unremedied in a supply chain, it can cause a cascade effect and ultimately affect multiple supply chain members. So, when you have an inefficient supply chain, you're not going to be able to maximize your profits. You're not going to be able to maximize the wealth of your shareholders. You're not going to be able to satisfy customer demand for your products in an expeditious manner. And you're going to be all the more prone to becoming unprofitable and defunct, especially if there are market downturns and unexpected decreases in customer demand for products. An inefficient supply chain will struggle to meet customer demand for products and will typically egregiously fail to meet customer demand for products. An inefficient supply chain has high supply chain costs, as well as inefficient supply chain processes. An inefficient supply chain is not deemed to be the quintessential supply chain to produce products and deliver those products to the end users. I hope that you deem this video to be insightful and enthralling. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.